It's the 11th of August and our second sort of summer day in a row. So we're down at the plot to try and get one or two jobs done. First job, I'm going to lift the onions on the grounds that hopefully it's going to stay dry for a couple of days. So this was our first onion bed.
It's got showers for tomorrow.
Has it?
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
Anyway, we might not get them, who knows.
And then moving along, we're going to where we planted red onions from seed and shallots. I forget what the shallots were called.
Zebrun.
Zebrun, yeah.
We grew these from
seed,
but we grew them because they were a recommendation really from Bill and Val.
right?
And some are gigantic.
We also got a bit of a surprise, didn't we? Because there's a strawberry.
Oh yeah, but how does this happen?
We grew strawberries in this bed probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep. So that's how.
And that strawberry was not there when we dug it over and planted it. So goodness knows where it's come from.
And that we're heading to our final lot now, aren't we?
Yeah. We did 2 beds of onion sets. First one you've seen, and then this is the second one. Again, the leaves have all bent over, so they won't do any more growing. So the next challenge will be trying them off.
Yep. I'm going to try and trim round these beds before we lift the onions, just to try and start tidying things up a bit.
Yeah. And then what are you doing?
While Sue's doing that, I'm going to try lifting some more potatoes. The only thing is, at the minute, I should have had a look to see what they are, but I don't really know.
I think one's Nadine.
I think one might be Charlotte.
Yeah, I think they are Nadine and Charlotte.
But if that turns out not to be well, it probably won't, but I'll put on for certain what they are.
Always a bit apprehensive this year about lifting potatoes, aren't we?
And we are after those Casablanca ones, yeah. So these are the 2 rows of potatoes I'm going to try and lift. Can just about see where they were planted.
We've got
enough homes
a
left.
lovely weed.
And then that's our best weed. That nice sunflower.
Which is ready for deadheading.
But the others are coming along quite nicely on it.
Yeah, have you noticed the first one was a big flower and then it's getting little ones?
Yeah.
We haven't a clue where it came from. Because we've never grown tall sunflowers, have we?
No, but there's loads of flowers still to come down
Yeah. So is this a case of trying to leave that in situ?
there. Well, yeah, I thought I might as well. Yeah, I'll try and excavate potatoes around it.
Although we need this bed, don't we, for
Yeah, it
autumn
can't
onions?
stay long because the idea is this will get dug over and then our winter onions
Will
will
it
go
transplant?
in here. No. Right, we'll get on with that and then
See you in a
see
bit.
how we get on, yeah. So we've got 4 rows of onions.
4 different varieties.
4 different varieties. So the first row is
This
Centurion. The next one in is Hercules. Next
one.
one is, I can't see, Rumba.
And the fat one's
Only
stir on.
So they've all done okay, haven't they? All
Yeah, I was a bit concerned that they might get allium leaf miner because we've had that on the leeks, haven't we? And
yeah.
I thought the red onions had a bit of a sign of it, so these haven't had any
And
signs.
the
So
one or 2 that have come up look all right, don't they?
yeah, so it's fingers
You
crossed.
want to squeeze those 2 out just there then.
Of course, there's weeds growing in among them because we've had to abandon weeding, haven't we, to some
Certainly
extent? So we're hoping we can get them dry. We've been quite successful at drying them in the past, but this year, who knows?
Yeah. Right, I'm off to see if I can get some spuds up.
Right.
So I'm going to have a go at lifting these while Sue sorts out the onions. They are, as we said earlier, Nadine and Charlotte. It's just that I'm not too sure which row is which, but I think I should be able to tell Charlotte's from Nadine's as they come up. So I've done loads of videos of me digging through potatoes, so I'm not going to do a lot of these coming out. I'll just get on and see what sort of crop there is on them. Got them up and bed dug over, ready for winter onions. Probably be next month with a bit of luck when we can get those in. Sooner that we can get them in, the better. And I could easily tell which were Nadine and which were Charlotte's when they came out. So let's have a look at some of the Nadines first. So these were a few roots of Nadine. So there's some nice potatoes there, some decent sized ones. Some tough ones like that are a good size. And it's a tried and tested one that we rely on, is Nadine. Chosen because it doesn't get too much damage from the dreaded slugs. I was surprised how dry this ground was. I expected it to be much wetter than it is as I dug it. And the Charlottes, again, not too bad to say how dry it was in May and June when they sort of really gave up growing. We had a spell of about 6 weeks with no rain. They got no water. We didn't water them. And the result is the tops had really died down by the end of June. So I'm pleased these have done much better than the Casablancas, which really sort of failed altogether. I'll stick the weights on once I get them weighed up at home. But pleased to get those up and the bed dug over, ready for its next crop. At one stage I didn't think these beetroot were going to grow again. It was when it was really dry and we were struggling to keep them going, but now there's some absolute beauties in there. So I'm going to take a couple to cook. Taking any more, use those up first. So Sue's been working her way around lifting the onions. This is what the bed looks like now. Pleased with those, some good onions. Don't think there's any problems with them. All we got to do now is hope for some weather that will help them dry out a little bit before we have to sort of take them home, find somewhere to store them for winter. Let's go and look at those red ones. So again, best red onions we've grown for a long time. Certainly can't get them going from sets. Have no luck at all from sets, but these, not too bad at all. Our Zebrun Shallots are enormous. I'll have to let you into a little secret. I was quite disappointed when I saw these start to grow. I thought, blimey heck, do we only get one shallot per plant? Because I'd always grown them from sets, and like you put one in and get half a dozen bulbs from around the set. And I decided to grow these, having watched Bill and Val, and I thought I've never actually taken any notice of how they grow. I've seen them harvested and thought they look good, but never thought about them just coming in one per plant. So next time I'll probably put more in, because these, well, they are absolutely ginormous. I mean, look at that for a shallot. It's insane. It's the biggest, but there's a few that size. Hope they store alright. I'll find out. So who's managed to finish our third onion bed, and again, pleased with what's come out there. Just got to manage to get them to dry off now. But like last year, we're hoping that we'll get right through until the winter onions that we haven't yet planted will be ready next spring. Now, here's another class weed. We had the strawberry in the other onions and the sunflower, and I'd forgotten that in this bed of onions was the Verbena bonensiaris. And unlike all the other weeds, it's been left in. And go then, today's harvest. So Nadine filled those couple of buckets, decent potatoes, a couple of beetroot, loads of onward peas that now we need to get home and get shelled, runner beans St George, a buffalo sun tomato and a couple of Shirleys underneath, some sun gold tomatoes, and then our Nadine potatoes, a couple of buckets of those as well. So all in all, a good afternoon's work. Just got to get everything packed up and in the car now.